Hi friends, it's Ivy and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my August wrap-up. It is a few weeks into September, so it's about time that I get this out to you guys. While the Streams came out today, Taylor's version, 1989 era activated. Okay, I know. We were expecting a red single, but I mean, it's Taylor, so we're living in Taylor's version era. It's great. It's great. So I'm checking my Goodreads because it has been a while and I'm not exactly sure of everything that I read, because I did read some like ebooks and audiobooks that I don't own that I borrowed from the library. The first one I read and finished in August was Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a historical fiction novel about the Rivera family. I think that's how you say their name. The Riva family. I really enjoyed this book because it flashes back between Nina, the daughter, and then it goes back in time to where her father Mick and her mother are meeting and falling in love and creating their family and all that. So it's two different time periods leading up to the night of the fire, which we know right away. Malibu's gonna be on fire. We don't know how, we don't know what happens, we don't know if anybody dies, we don't know any of that. But I really enjoyed the flashbacks between Mick and his wife, whom I'm spacing her name and I can't find it. I really enjoyed their story, and Mick is just, he's an asshole. He really is. His poor family, honestly. I highly recommend this. If you're a Taylor Jenkins Reid fan, you know what to expect. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars and I loved it. The next book I listened to on audiobook, and that is Etherbound by E.K. Johnson, which I don't own, never want to read again. I DNF'd it at 80%. This book, it's a sci-fi. I don't even really know how to explain it. I really don't even want to explain it. I don't want to think about this book ever again. I don't like it. It had a weird pregnancy twist thing that I was just like not here for, so just that's it. That's the end of the line for me in Etherbound. The next book I read though was Bug Boys, and that is Outside and Beyond, and this is the second volume to the graphic novel by Laura Netziger. If you remember last year, I'll leave it up here, the review Landon and I did for Bug Boys 1. We really enjoyed that graphic novel. It's very vibrant in its color and its drawing. Each kind of little part is broken down into a nice lesson for young readers, and so I ended up giving the second volume 4 stars. The next book that I read was A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw, and this book comes out in December. The exact date is December 7th. So put this on your pre-order list. You totally need to pre-order this. One thing about Shay is there's always a twist. There's always some crazy kind of twist, and she is a sneaky and unreliable author. Okay, you really never know what you're going to get. Like, the story, whatever you think is going to happen, she's going to wrap it up in a differently and unique, unknown way. She is a very twisty author, so if that's kind of your thing, if you like mysterious, then I highly recommend this. A History of Wild Places about an author, Maggie St. James, who goes missing, and a man who searches for her and also ends up going missing. And then it's about other characters that are in this town called Pastoral, and they're very superstitious. They run inside if it starts to rain because they think they'll get sick. They cannot leave their borders because they think they'll get sick. And this is like this town is like very, I don't know, life on the prairie, I guess. Like, there's nothing there. They're just there in their little town, in their houses, in this little place in the middle of nowhere in the woods. Honestly, one of my favorite books I read this year. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I will definitely read it again when I have the physical copy in my hands. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I love Shay. I love her writing. I love her books, and I highly recommend this one. The next book I read was The Nature of the Witches by Rachel Griffin, and this book, it was very good. It was very unique in the magic aspect, where each witch's magic system is connected to a certain season, except for our main character, whose name is Clara. Her magic is connected to all the seasons, so she is what we call an Everwitch, and that is unusual. And they're a highly coveted witch, and there's not much she really knows about her own magic because it's so rare, and the last person who was like this was long time ago. Because her magic isn't tied to a certain season, it's very unpredictable, and because of this, the people around her and closest to her end up getting hurt by her magic, and it's very devastating for her. I really liked Clara as a main character, and as our main female protagonist, she was very strong and independent and stood up for what she believed in, and if she didn't want to do something, she was very outspoken. She was like, no, I'm not doing that, I don't want to do that, and I really liked that about her. Actually, I wish I could be more like, I'm very outspoken, but I also do things I don't want to do, and I wish I could be more like Clara. And there's power in the word no, which, this is a little side note. I was watching Casey Musgrave's interview with Staying Low, and I really enjoyed that they were saying, like, say no, like, say no, there's power in the word no, like, stop saying yes, stop being a people pleaser. That's just a little side note, because I love Casey Musgraves. You should watch that interview. Anyways, this book, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. You can watch my reading vlog if you want to see more in-depth thoughts as I'm reading the novel. Next up, I read Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, and I finally get the hype. This book is about 2 boys, Charlie and Nick, and they are falling in love, and it's cute, and the art style is pretty cute. It's like this minty greenish bluish color. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. The next graphic novel I read was The Me You Love in the Dark by Scotty Young. This is about an artist who no longer has like a muse. She's got no creativity flowing, so she rents this haunted house in hopes that it will help her get a creative flow going, and then a ghost turns up. The next book I listened to on audio, and this is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. This is a memoir in the form of self-help, and it's broken down into like itty-bitty sections. Like, each little chapter is pretty short, which I really enjoyed that. And this book is about Glennon and Abby and their love at first sight, falling in love, and her falling in love with a female for the first time, her and her husband divorcing, but trying to keep their family happy as they still have kids together, and him getting a new girlfriend. And as I said before, this is very much like sitting down and having a conversation with a cool mom who's just telling you like, hey, these things have helped me, maybe they could help you, but she's not shoving that down your throat. So it's not like something that you consume and you're like, ugh. It's like something you consume and you're like, wow, I really enjoyed the way you had a perspective on that. Maybe that could help me too. So I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Next book I read in August. August was a good reading month for me, you guys. Like, I was killing it. This is For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. I joined the Literally Dead book club with Kayla to read this, and oh, let's see. This book is about a prestigious private rich kid school and the teacher there who thinks that he is helping people become better, and he's psycho. Teddy is psycho, and I really don't know what I don't want to spoil anything for you if you're gonna go into this, but there's poison involved and it's ridiculous. This book is honestly so ridiculous. Like, I was just like, oh my god, this is like, what? I did end up giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed my time reading it. It was fun. I definitely want to read more Samantha Downing. Just know it's not like, it's kind of like a comedy thriller, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah. It was fair. It was good. The next book I listened to on audio, and that was The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, and I don't know what that wink was. I'm just really thirsty and I should get up and get water. this one is told in verse, and I'm reading my review on Goodreads, which I said I couldn't really connect to this story, and that's maybe because I didn't grow up in a strict household. But this book is about a young girl who she discovers slam poetry, having kind of like her first boyfriend, and her twin is also having a boyfriend, and her mother is like extremely strict. And so I don't know, I guess I had problems connecting with this, and I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I finished was a reread, and that was The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I was joining the Kingdom of Maas read along for Throne of Glass, but I fell so far behind. Like, I'm so far behind. Oh, my bookmark's in here. I think I'm gonna continue to reread, but just probably like at my own pace, I guess. You know how I feel about this. You guys know how I feel about this. I love Sarah J. Maas. I love Selena. 5 out of 5 stars. The final book I read in August was The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina, and this is by Zoraida Cordova. And this book is about a grandmother who she knows she is dying, so she sends her grandchildren and her children an invitation to witness her death. There's a lot of unexplained magic in her family. Her family doesn't even know why. She doesn't ever like tell them. So they get there to watch her death, and then she turns into a tree, and it goes by 7 years later, and members of the family are turning up dead, and there's something dark that is after them, and they're not exactly sure why, because Orquídea doesn't ever tell them what really happened, and this is very frustrating for them. This book holds one of my favorite aspects, which is like weird body horror. Like our other main character, which is Marimar, I think that's how you say her name, she gets a flower that grows right here out of her throat, and there's a baby that is born, and she has a flower grow out of her forehead, and then another one, he has a flower, I think it's in his wrist. And I love weird things like that happen in novels. It's one of my favorite things. I definitely think that Zoraida is a highly underrated author. She should be taking over your TBR shelves by storms. This book, I'm pretty sure, you guys listen, I'm pretty sure this is my favorite book of the year. Like, I'm a diehard SJM fan. We got A Court of Silver Flames this year, and I think this is my favorite book of 2021. So, that being said, if you haven't read this yet, read it. Also, it was a very special read for me because me and my grandmother buddy read it, so we both were really loving it, and that was a lot of fun. I just really need you to pick this up because it is amazing. It is so amazing, and it's got just so much magic happening in it, and I think you will love it. I really think you will, so please pick it up. Okay, you guys, that is it for my August wrap up. Please let me know in the comments down below what your favorite book of August was, as I would love to hear about it, and I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. May the force be with you. Bye!